On this day, September 26th, I, the Lord, your God, come to you with a shivering urgency. And every word that is being transmitted to you at this precise now is alive, heavy, and full of everlasting weight. 2 seconds separate the life you have known from the one that has already been prepared for you. Angels are there in every breath you breathe at this moment and have been watching your choices. You have felt the pressure in your spirit, the strange sensation that the air is heavier, the nights are longer, and the whispers are louder. And the sky has been lowering itself in expectation of your answer, which is why. Nothing appears to be happening in the world. However, the unseen world has been roaring like thunder, and your name has been called by a council you have never seen. The angels have wept for you, not because you are lost, but because you have delayed, and every delay has torn the timeline that was made for your blessing. Archangel Michael is still in danger of destroying you. His blade became damp with the dew of sorrow because of your disobedience. However, his wings will spread out to shield you if you move. This is a time that will never come again. 1 second is sliced out of eternity to wake you awake before the hour changes. You are the target of a billionaire whose name is known around the world, who is hiding in secret chambers. Furthermore, he has seen something about you that you are unaware of. Your present environment is not a chance or accident. Rather, it is the outcome of a divine confluence that has been planned since the day you were formed. There have been days when you have been ignored, pushed aside, evaded, and hidden. Heaven, you thought, had forgotten about you. But even in those days, I penned your story in water and fire. The opponent tried to convince you that it was too late, that the doors were closed, and that the promise had gone. But every move you took became a thread in a tapestry that only I could see. But I've been working in the background, connecting individuals, kindling passions, and even drawing important people's attention to you. Although your disobedience hasn't resulted in your disqualification, it has cost you money since it has created delays. It is not judgment, but the anguish of seeing you stand at the entrance without entering that causes the angels to weep. Michael's uncontrollable crying persists. But when you pause to listen, the door always opens again, so there is still hope mirrored in those tears. I am God, and when I speak to you, the earth trembles under my words, despite the fact that my voice does not. My power to influence people's opinions, move money, and shift positions with a single word is shown by the billionaire you've heard tales about. He is neither a lure or a myth. The world is left in shock as my movements are kept a secret until the appointed moment. And that moment, September 26th, is in the window you are now standing in. Avoid being distracted by noise. This word should not be scrolled past like any other post. An algorithm is not what this is. It's an altar, and your eyes have been brought here because heaven is trying to break through your unyielding defenses. When you quit battling and give up, a number of things will occur. In ways you cannot understand, doors will open, names will appear, and opportunities will arise. You thought I was punishing you, but in reality, I was keeping you safe. I let some individuals go, some meetings don't work out, and some invitations never arrive, because if they had succeeded, you would have been devoured, misled, or imprisoned. People are still reaching for you while pretending to smile. However, I'm pulling you out of reach since your name is associated with a plan that is far larger than your current circle. Not many people understand the path you have been asked to take. Furthermore, rather than being a sign of failure, the resistance you encounter is proof of your calling. We've collected all of your tears. They keep a record of every seed you have planted and every prayer you have spoken. The fulfillment, the divine alignment of people, places, and provision that is about to occur, not a random windfall, will transform you forever. I know you have doubts. I know you have wondered why the silence is so heavy, why the timing is harsh, and why the breakthroughs constantly seem to slip through your fingers. Now hear me out. You've been missed by nothing. It's all coming together. Even the billionaire who has his eyes set on you is not acting on his own initiative, but rather in response to a stirring I gave him. Instead of being a curse, Archangel Michael's cries are a warning, a last call before the second passes. His tears show that while the window is open, It is closing quickly. Now you feel a feeling of urgency that is not fear, but truth. Your heart is being pounded by the pulse of heaven. As if you were entering light, type this word. Breathe it in. Go ahead and let it go by. Let go of the humiliation. Give up the reluctance. I'll get more done in a day than you could in 10 years if you quit up now. I'll bring names to your phone, signatures to your documents, and favors to your door. I placed a table for you in front of the people who asked you questions. The contacts, appointments, and possibilities I have in store for you will astound you. I'm not teasing you with success or offering you false hope. I am setting you apart for a purpose that will need influence, money, and protection. And I'll be sending them out soon. Stay awake. Keep your head down. Be ready. As soon as you finish reading this, the shift begins. Even as your eyes move over these lines, angels are moving across cities. They are writing drafts. Hearts are being softened by them. They're also paving a path. Don't skip. Don't ignore it. Don't make a self-promise to get back to it later. The moment has come. This belongs to you. This is the moment that heaven has been waiting for. I will guide you out of your past, just as light emerges from darkness. People who used to disregard you will pay attention if I place you in front of them. I'll force you to mention your name in unfamiliar locations. I'll protect you from every shady scheme, jealous glance, and hidden trap. This word should not be used by everyone. It's for you. It carries your fingerprint, your prayers, your tears, and your secret anxieties. It carries the burden of my love for you, my goals for you, and the urgency of this situation. Now look up, breathe deeply, let go of the guilt. Forgive yourself. Forgive those who have harmed you. Orient yourself. At this moment, the sobbing ceases. When a bridge forms in the billionaire's eyes. When the amazement of the world becomes your witness. I've spoken something. God is me. Now go. Now, on September 26th, I speak to you with the weight of eternity. And I want you to hear me as if the room itself were breathing intently, because you have 2 seconds left in your existing way of living and a new clock is beginning. I've seen you stand on thresholds and retreat. I've seen you look back on a history I've already come to terms with. When you finally stop running and enter the light I've already prepared, Archangel Michael weeps bitterly over your disobedience, not to condemn you, but because he knows who you are. I've watched your heart race with recognition while you feigned you couldn't hear me. I'm not here to bring disgrace upon you. I'm not a hammer. Therefore, I'm here to pull you up with the truth. It is a key. Your pride and skill could not force me to create these possibilities. I'm also closing doors that seem to be golden from the outside, but were really waiting rooms that were vacant. Don't stand in the hallway feeling depressed over what I've locked. The door you need is the one that recalls your name and answers your purpose. I'm moving objects and people you can't see, and I own the board. So pay attention. Choose one. The whole world is in shock at what I am doing in quiet. And those who thought your life was a footnote will see the headline I created with the ink of love. One of the billionaires has taken notice of you. But understand that your source is not his eyes. I am indeed. I will use the eyes that the world calls powerful to see the work I have put into you. And I'll use hands that have managed empires to give you a chance that you couldn't obtain on your own. But I refuse to let another name replace mine in your heart. And I will not share my magnificence with the gods of adulation. Learn the difference between attention and assignment, and between aligning and complementing offers. You have felt the tug of conflict inside your soul, the draw of fate toward courage, the rope burning your hands as you strain for solace. You have made an effort to engage in private negotiations with me, keeping your secret concessions while guaranteeing secure cooperation. I refuse to haggle. I'm trying to make things right. Moreover, redemption does not make contracts with the bonds it destroys. Remember when I mentioned something and you called it a coincidence and you responded, "If you speak clearly, I will move." Within a week, I issued 3 confirmations. Remember how you thought it was too clear it was me? I've come back and am being even more direct than before because love won't let you miss what you were intended to endure. Michael understands the price of waiting. You can't even recall the nights he kept you safe. He has also seen assignments fly around your life like planes waiting for clearance to land. He weeps because every delay creates unnecessary strife. Furthermore, every half-step invites phony gurus who mimic my voice without my heart. Wash your face, then stand up. This is a commissioning. It is not a funeral. I'm referring to the actions that continue to cover your past with your future. I'm throwing light on the chat threads you keep coming back to at midnight that make you feel small in your own thoughts. You're nearing the end of the failure rehearsals that keep you practicing losses I never imagined. You will discover beauty in your practice, I assure you. What would seem to be starvation will become a feast of focus. The rhythm of early mornings, when information is like dew on the mental grass, will become clear to you. You will realize and feel the tenderness of constraint, which was never punishment. It was a greenhouse as a commitment. You shouldn't praise turbulence just because it makes you feel important. Calm isn't boring. Peace comes from the appropriate use of power. The crowd applauds for the drama, but destiny rewards alignment. Alignment is also the quiet thunder that shivers when you enter a room. The first of 10 talks is already set. One door will become a tunnel, and a city will emerge from that corridor. I'm not attempting to dampen your spirits. You're learning how to be a steward from me. If I elevate you faster than your character can breathe, you will suffocate on influence you cannot handle. And I love you too much to let you die in the spotlight. One letter from your history has persisted in narrating your worth. Burn it. A relation of yours has a nickname that portrays the worst parts of you, as if they were the most true. Switch it off. Your hunger in your leisure time saps the energy you need to complete your morning activity. Act quickly. You will be astonished at how effortless obedience seems after you remove the acting costume. I'm giving you an inheritance. You're not trying out for me. Genuine surrender settles identity, and when identity is established, inheritance follows. You have asked, why am I surrounded by people who misunderstand me? It's because I protected your seed from relationships based on gossip, which would smother your roots and demand your produce. Not every mentor is a good fit for you, and not every clap appeals to you. You must evaluate me based on my character, not on trends. The attention you're getting, even from the billionaire who has taken note of you, will magnify everything you emphasize or ignore about me. If you anchor humility, your impact will grow and your compassion will be amplified. Ignoring correction can strengthen your blind spots and make you more stubborn. I want you to prepare your life space for the guests you have in mind. Get your defeat talk under control. Put away the excuse dishes. Allow the windows of gratitude to open. Talk to your day the way I spoke to the oceans using shape, light, and limits. For enduring cycles that shattered your happiness, you owe yourself an apology. You should apologize to them for just being showy when you said you would be there. Maintain a high moral code, speak sparingly, and lead an optimistic life. Be a master of what I have given you, rather than a guest with 100 glittering temptations. I have given you a season of handiwork. Consider your work to be like a vineyard, pruning the lush but barren and training the fruitful to ascend the trellis of grandeur. Your excellence will act as a sermon and a shield. When envy makes its tongue harsh, it will protect you. When critics make up stories, it will speak. Both before and after September 26th, I am making a mark in the sand of your memory. In the last 2 seconds, the intervals between songs, I'll switch up the music for your selections. Purpose is the following melody in a major key. You'll notice me in the little choices you make when you wake up. In the first 10 minutes of the day, whose voice do you emphasize? When the mirror reflects your growth rather than your perfection, you are so quick to forgive it. My time will be sensed by you. How courage is given when it's needed. A door opening up, the day you stop begging to be noticed. The faces will give you a feeling of my presence. How to ask the right questions to get the right help. How the wrong admirer disappears without a farewell. I will not send you into combat without armor. It's obvious that I fit you. Clarity fortifies your soul. It repels confusion that passes for hurry. Clarity is on its way to you. Bribes disguised as blessings are exposed. Money won't make the miraculous happen, but it will. To put another way, favor is not the foundation, but will eventually be granted. For loyalty, platforms will emerge, but people are not platforms. Watch wary for conversations that make you both intelligent and unclean. Watch out for strategies that make you stand out but don't work. Watch out for shortcuts that can speed you up but reduce your output. The phone will eventually ring, and the name shown on the screen will represent rooms that you were previously unable to enter. Breathe. React calmly, because I've been teaching you to be trusted with rooms without becoming trapped by them. You'll be surprised by your lack of interest in acting. This is a gift from the woods. You harbored resentment. Soon, honor will become a language in your mouth rather than simply a tagline on your feed. You will speak well of them, even if they are not present, and the walls will figure out your loyalty. I assist you in expanding your audience by letting your persona introduce you to pertinent audiences. I'll also reveal a clandestine plan that disturbs your peace. When secrets are revealed, don't panic. Fortunately, places with open windows are inhospitable to mildew. You have no obligation to retaliate. You are a revelation at work. Lives so true to yourself that lies decay and age quickly. You have been anticipating a sign that the idea you sealed in drafts need to go forward. Here is your sign. Instead of moving haphazardly or carelessly, move with the bold neatness of a plan that is followed line by line. Prototype with humility, refine with patience, and launch with prayer. I'm sending counselors disguised as friends and friends disguised as strangers. Test spirits with kindness and consistency. The one who keeps their word even when they are not in the spotlight. This is trustworthy. The one who satisfies your desire and nourishes your purity. It's a trap. You will learn that relaxation is not the same as indifference. The remainder is a method of sharpening. Keep Sabbath embedded in your being, not just on your calendar, to avoid output mimicking meaning. You will find poetry in your pauses. You'll hear me most during the unrestricted hour. On a clear day, some of the storms you faced were not meant to drown you, but to rescue you from ports you would never have left. Thank the wind. It was my cruel sympathy. Thank the waves. They taught you my pace. I'll reclaim the time you said was wasted by converting it into knowledge. Everything you gave me has been transplanted, so I no longer have it. You don't dissolve anything you give up. It has undergone a makeover. If you don't mind, I'll reintroduce you to myself. I'll reveal the voice you keep quiet in order to keep your relationships harmonious. I'll reveal the joy you've been concealing since you mistakenly believed that survival meant seriousness. If you walk with me, I will translate grace into every language you encounter, help you be more specific in your generosity, and help you be compassionate in your boundaries. If you walk with me, I will make your grandeur loud and your courage quiet. Being ready is an emotion. Therefore, if you're not ready, don't ask me. If you're willing, ask me. Willingness is a decision. I make the decisions. Your family line will be impacted by this change. Someone prayed before you were born, and their tears planted a seed of destiny that you are now harvesting. Don't honor them by decorating your cage. Honor my way and don't demonize yours. You won't always be understood by those closest to you. Still, continue to adore them. Not everyone who picked up your beats will be pleased for you. Nevertheless, bless them and learn new ones. Not everyone will copy you fairly. Release anyway and keep producing from the river instead of the reservoir. I like catching you off guard in normal situations. A commute, a corridor, and a teacup resting on a desk while an email comes in. I'm not a superstitious person. Being unscheduled is something you can rely on. Expect me with an attitude of gratitude that keeps the hinges of your heart from rusting. Now listen to this allegation. Subscriptions to your old fear should be discontinued. Before you go to bed, stop practicing crisis scenarios. Stop going to altars of opinion that have never offered you love. Practice communicating effectively to yourself first. Develop the habit of appreciating your body as a tool rather than a barrier. Share your concerns on my work on a daily basis. The world will say it is surprised when your name appears in rooms that were never assigned to you. But heaven will call it scheduling. Heaven will call it law, but the earth will call it luck when supply aligns with your stewardship. Even if the world wants to make your story about spectacle, I will still make it about service. There is no need to be afraid about being new in public. Humility is a great place to start. Don't be afraid to be powerful in private. Integrity is a quiet athlete. Don't be afraid to stay steady when the applause stops. Devotion is its chorus. I'm healing the place where you confused hunger with hollowness. You'll eat and feel satisfied in the world of purpose. Where you erroneously believed that being alone equated to being set apart, I'm fixing. Finding a tribe won't need you to sell your soul. I am healing the place where you mistake noise for approval. You will learn enough. People are not your adversaries. Your enemies are the patterns that make people become your delay's instruments. Be forgiving quickly. When confronting, use care. Withdraw if required. Make a clear return only. Their architecture is love. Boundaries are not what love is. Get your table ready. Instead of exploiting people, you will create opportunities that benefit them. Write down the date. It will be an act of obedience to say yes, and an act of worship to say no. Pay attention. You will look where you want to go rather than where fear attempts to hold you. To the part of you that believes catastrophe is unavoidable, I punish the prophet of your past in the language of your future. Even if you believe pleasure to be dangerous, I give you permission to be safe in compassion. For those of you who believe that success is questionable, I demonstrate how to achieve without pretending. Give the 2 seconds to expire. It is no longer the old hour. Breathe. Exhale. Get moving. Michael wipes his tears away and stands at the doorway. He won't pull you, but he will defend you. He'll walk with you if you do. If you stand, he will stand by you. This is your opportunity to exchange borrowed boldness for your own beliefs. It's time to switch out the script that constantly apologizes for shining with one that apologizes for shrinking. This is your opportunity to give my yes more weight than all of the no's you've previously spoken. I offer you a new preference for truth over accolades, depth over display, and presence over performance. I offer you a new schedule, perseverance that gets things done, joy that gives you energy, and hope that develops plans. I force you to produce a new sound, laughter that cures, prayer that steadied, and speech that planted. When a millionaire calls, don't tremble. Think of him as a person, not a planet. When the offer is made, don't back down. Ask it using the questions we practiced. After the ink dries, don't bow. Raise your own hands rather than those of others. You won't compromise for other people. You will be more genuine in order to give people trust. You won't become more believable by raising your voice. Being helpful will be simpler for you. You won't be faster if you're first. You'll be reliable and classic. Remember how far I've already carried you. You didn't have enough time to begin healing your wounds. You succeeded in teaching your tools. Please feel free to share them. Get compensated for your work. Don't let resentment drain your feelings. If you answer yes, I'll meet you there. You'll also find that your fear becomes your testimony. You will see things done, relationships healed or set free, and everyday bread multiplied into baskets for others. You will testify with a composure that will be unfathomable to those who need on storms to feel alive. Because it confuses novelty with newness, the world is incredulous. I'm restoring your completeness. You're not a novelty to me. Wholeness is a slow, lovely, precise lightning followed by rain. Get up right away. Turn off the tabs for procrastination. Open the canvas, the paper, the plan, and the room. Make a public or even a private, if necessary, declaration that, as of right now, you will no longer be associated with delay. Declare that you are not seeking permission and that you currently have a commission. My darling, say that your logic is sound. I give you the capacity to build patiently and joyfully. What I give you is the capacity to see what is good and ignore what is wrong. I give you the current arrival and a light voyage. Step forth into the next hour like a daybreak. Transform your borders into plant-supporting soft barriers. Let the environment in your home be influenced by your gratitude. This word does not have a performance. It's a commitment. It will hum quietly until you succumb in, accompanying you to both crucial meetings and mundane duties. When you agree, it will begin to sing. Together, we're standing in front of the emails, the door, and the mirror. I'll be there to encourage you when you break old habits and break bread with new helpers. I'll be at your side when they remember and when they don't. I'm with you when they understand and when they don't. On this day, September 26th, the clock resets for you. And this time, you won't run away from yourself. You won't flee from morality. You won't apologize for becoming better. You won't delay what commitment demonstrates. Lift your head. There is no longer any stillness in the room. Heaven is rooting for you before you ever reach there, and I know you. Archangel Michael is ready, this time defending rather than pleading, since the decision has changed from maybe to must. You are being responded to by your life. Don't try to stay away from this. The only way to unlock it is to pretend that you believe me. That I spoke is a wonderful thing. I'm not late, sweetheart, and I'm talking right now. I've come to your door with a sentence that is rammed into your palms like fire to make sure you don't forget or put it off, so that when the noise of the world roars around your ears like a storm, you will remember it. Today is marked, sealed, and witnessed. September 26th. Your neck was stroked by the clock's breath. The 2 seconds, like a flame about to extinguish, flickered. You also questioned if compassion could be shown so quickly. Hear me out. Kindness moves more slowly than fear. When I say this, mountains bow to form a way. I am the one who counts the hairs on your head and the tears in your eyes. I am the one who heard you say, "Help me," in between breaths when shame told you to be silent. You don't make me feel bad. I won't look away. I won't say you have no hope. I will not allow your name to be buried under the rubble of other people's opinions. Lift your head and let me to speak into the soil of your existence. You've gone down a corridor that seems to go on forever with barred doors and delays. When you press your ear on them, nothing could be heard. You called the silence rejection as well. Silence, however, may not always indicate rejection in other situations. I hide seeds from locust teeth in this room. My absent strategy was misunderstood by you, but I wasn't missing. I had a busy schedule. I was busy turning the prospects you had lost into a future that would support you. I'm laboring to soften the ground underneath the path you'll ultimately run on. I was busy oiling the rusted shut hinges of the enemy. The hand that would knock, the letter that would arrive, and the voice that would respectfully say your name were all things I was busy preparing. In the same manner that a composer produces the silences between notes so that the music can sustain your weight when it emerges, I make your steps. I do not scatter your life like dust. You're concerned that your disobedience has harmed the strategy. That one choice, that one delay, that one diversion has totally ruined my goal. Hear me out. I don't draw future scenarios in pencil. My breath is left on it. You turned away, but I remained. When you hesitated, I kept thieves and scavengers away from the path you were meant to go. But I will not pretend that disobedience is harmless. It slows, wounds, and dims the space in which you stand. And you see, Michael's tears are meant to rouse you up, not to drown you in regret, but to lift the dust from your eyes. Instead of shattering glass, his tears are warning signals that open locks. They are not a choice, but a summons. They bring you back to the center of your assignment. They tell you that even if you came late, it's still an arrival when you walk through the door I'm holding open at the moment. Right now, a wind is building up around you. You assumed that the fact that it began softly was a coincidence. It's not a coincidence, however. It's alignment. You'll notice it because it will be slight. A spontaneous conversation. A memory that suddenly becomes vivid. A number keeps popping up on the screen as you look up. A stranger who didn't know how it got to you uttered the precise thing you needed to hear. These things are not superstitions. That's what signposts are. No one else can replace your volition. They support it. They don't solve the problem. They control it. I can promise you that the map you asked for is not in your drawer. It's in the next responsible move you take. As you go, the lines on the map print themselves in front of your feet. When you pause to listen, the road speaks. You ask me about supply and how long you have to scrounge, save, and put things together. You prayed for food every day while I set up storehouses. Your dream was modest. The gravity of the calling that was upon you was too great for the dream you had. You were told to make yourself simple, to ignore, since attention seemed dangerous. However, I am the one who brings a voice from the back to the front for a cause. It's not for show or vanity, but for a purpose that demands attention. I'm turning on a light, so don't flee. Allow the hungry to see my craftsmanship rather than your weakness for mockery. Your story will be a beacon of hope for someone else going through a difficult time. They will not adore you. You heard rumors that a billionaire was interested in you, and you wondered whether this was a cruel joke, a trap, or simply another delusion. You won't turn off the light, so they'll find out how to get to me. Hear me out. I'm not impressed by expensive instruments, but I'm also not limited to simple ones. To reach the individuals I want to reach, I use what I want. And when I decide to use the powerful to allocate resources, I do so without compromising your dignity. The attention you get does not put you in a trap. It is a window that must be opened carefully. What does this mean? It means you're not going to pursue. In order to pursue what I gave you, the invitation will meet you where you are. It shows that you won't sacrifice your reputation for recognition. You will defend it as evidence of your promise to me. It means you're not going to succumb to greed. You will learn to steward riches in the same manner that you learn to steward poverty, with open hands, order, and gratitude. Because they cannot comprehend why favor falls in certain regions, people all across the world are incredulous. They look for formulas. I'm looking for submission. They measure value using numbers. Compliance is how I measure it. Avoid being intoxicated by the headline that others want to write about you. Enter the room without drinking. If you are invited to tables you used to only see in magazines, remember who taught you to eat when you had nothing but hope and a small promise. Indeed, I did. Have courage and sit down. Just discuss what happens. Just what is a line should be signed. Discard everything that becomes diluted. I'm not using your influence to make you feel better. I'm using it to do your mission. In places where you arrive by faith rather than flattery, your name will be called. They'll be observing everything you do. Before they know it, others will follow the pattern you set with your choices. Provide a holy thing for them to mimic. Prove to them that honesty is a compass, not a concession. That humility is not shyness, but the management of power into usefulness. That generosity is not a marketing gimmick. It is a language that heaven recognizes as its own. Michael does shed a tear or two. You struggle to meet your obligations to yourself without me, which results in unfulfilled promises. The crying is a warning posted across your doorway, like a bright ribbon that cautions, do not trip here. The tears are a plea to give up the quick fixes you grab when fear is loud. Write down, under your breath, the unspoken vows that direct your life. I will prove them wrong. I will never need anyone, and I will never be embarrassed again are examples of pledges that are really shackles rather than shields. Take my yoke. Let me tell you about your heart. You will continue to work, but your job won't yell anymore. It won't tear anymore, but you'll still have to strain. You will realize that it is not the pain that signals disaster, but the discomfort that precedes strength, even if you will still go through the agony of growth. I'm gathering your scattered focus now. I place it in a cup and pour it back into you as clarity. Initially, while you wait for someone else to wake you up, you'll have an unexplained need to tidy your office, respond to emails, finish duties, and stop sleeping next to your own dream. This is more than just discipline. It is deliverance from the cunning fog. I deny the story that says you ruin everything you come into contact with, that you are late for every blessing, and that the greatest doors were closed 5 minutes before you got there. Time bends as you speak. I have arranged for you to be called by me in the future, not by the accent of your fears, but by mine. Can you hear those worries rattling? You are not worthy of attention, they say. They say wealth will corrupt you and success will expose you as a fake. Such things are not prophecies. They represent the stale bread of a long-gone famine. Leave it to the crows. Come eat at my table. You won't disappear. You won't be smeared in the book I'm writing. I'm writing your future chapter right now on my fingers in ink. There is an inevitable knock in the beginning, and then a meeting that looks like a room you've seen in your dreams. Then a steady writing paper with your name on it. Don't tremble. Instead of shaking out of fear, let it be out of respect. You are welcome to ask questions because I will pair you with experienced counselors who are more terrified of me than they are of losing you. They refuse to speak in a parasitic manner. They will speak in a guardian manner. Listen to them. Ask them to read the fine print with the torch of truth. We will not lose what is properly ours. We will let go of what is rightfully ours. There's a reason why the world is in shock. As they saw you sowing seeds on what seemed to be a forlorn ground, they made fun of you for having faith in rain. but the weather and the seasons are within my control. I drink from a rock and call forth food from a desert. I seek assistance from a place that once ridiculed you. I call honor out in situations when your name has been used in mockery. Let them be taken aback as the harvest breaks the topsoil. Don't let their surprise serve as the foundation for your theology. Your theology must be like this: I'm trustworthy. You have to appreciate this. Thank you. Your discipline must be the cause. I will remain aligned. You must be quite generous. I will flow wherever I am planted. No resentment can develop when gratitude feeds a heart. Envy cannot thrive in a field that is cordoned off by assignments. Look just left and right to be blessed. Look up and listen. Expect to be obeyed. I've been asked whether wealth can elevate one to a sacred status. It can if it's a river instead of a dam. The water's depth is not a justification. It learns about its banks. Instead of drowning, villages are powered by it. It does not brag, it goes. I will demonstrate the usage of the banks for you. I'll teach you how to make budgets that are altars and strategies that are prayers in action. I'll teach you to tell the difference between results and compliance, worth and value, speed and timing, and praise. I will teach you to see money as a tool that follows wisdom, not as a master that terrified conscience. I'll educate you to give gently, negotiate boldly, enforce boundaries strongly, and bless liberally. Holiness is not easily broken. It is aggressive, clean, and brilliant. Bring it into boardrooms like a never-ending perfume. This isn't just any day. In order for the angels to observe it and add it to the calendar of your becoming, I circled it. The remaining seconds are risk-free. It reminds us that time may alter everything by showing up at any moment and via any door. You're there. Take this, then. I free you from your past timelines. I remove the worry that turned your mornings into exhausting conversations. And I removed the sticky guilt that made you put things off. I gave your place a fresh tone. The sound of paperwork being signed restores what was stolen. It's the noise made when you pack for excursions you've postponed. We are doing something you used to hate. It's the sound of quiet laughter that returns to your breast. It sounds like a gate opening because it recognizes the person I've granted entry to. You will not be dominated by the eyes that suddenly turn to face you. You won't be enchanted by rooms that behave like mirrors. You will stay in your place and let the applause come and go like the wind across a wheat field. You will continue to hold your ground and dismiss criticism with ease. In your role, you are obedient. You're taking a position of gratitude. Your stance is one of confidence without vanity, bravery without cruelty, and compassion without compromise. Let those who emulate you see the results of combining humility with favor. Next, I'll discuss the aspects of you that remain wounded due to treachery, delays, and comments spoken over your head that acted like stains. Come nearer. When you are facing the mirror, tell me the line you rehearsed. The phrase puts blame, denigrates, and rejects it. Give it to me, and I'll break it like bread when I give you a better term. You were chosen due to your helpfulness. You are an answer wrapped in a skin. You are evidence that I still inspire the lowly and confound the haughty. You are not a fragile object. You're made of tempered steel. You are not the rumor. The Lord's report is you. Stand in that. Enter it. From there, talk. Let your emails speak for themselves. Your voice's notes should speak for you. Let your posture speak for you in the hallway. Clarity rather than conceit. When someone with more riches than you can imagine touches your invitation, don't rush to adorn it with your fantasies. Put it on the table with me. Ask 3 questions. Does doing this protect my integrity? Does this speed up the completion of my homework? Does this show consideration for the people I've been called to? If the answer is yes, don't back down. Instead, keep going. If the answer is no, shut it off without flinching. I will not undermine your self-esteem by offering you options. To assist you improve your judgment, I'm providing you options. You are under no obligation to consume every fruit that is presented to you. You may only enjoy the fruit of the tree I planted within your bounds. And understand that saying no is not a sign of disobedience when my soul screams no first. Your presence is what sustains our movement, regardless of whether you are new to us or have been here with us through all the harsh realities. If this affects you, provide your assistance. If you're taking control of your loneliness and using it to your advantage, press like, subscribe, and leave a remark with a score of 77. Give the video to someone who should see it. That is genuine assistance. It's not a little click. It continues us producing daring, transformative material that supports the courageous and breaks the quiet. Let's get started step by step. Every sentence here will seem like a map of your journey, I promise, if you are actually selected. Let's begin. First, being silent does not equate to innocence. A treachery contract has been signed. Being silent is not neutral. A treachery contract has been signed. Your silence wasn't a coincidence. The page of their crime has your signature. Listen, my beloved selected ones. Be aware of this when they claim not to have known. The comfortable use such phrase in an attempt to gain moral approval for themselves. They witnessed it. They heard it. Every time you enter a room, they sense the electric unease. When you needed them most, the phrases that came out of their lips vanished. That hesitancy, confusion wasn't the problem. It was a computation. There was more to their stillness than nothing. They intentionally placed a boundary between you and their security. They didn't just let you down. They made the decision to keep things going. Additionally, that decision has a signature. Was I asking too much? Did I expect a miracle number? You may be wondering, yet in most cases, a human gesture was plenty. One glance, one statement, and one refusal to fall for the deception. Imagine a trial in which the accused rewrites history while all witnesses remain silent. Their living room turned like that. People are hardly impartial observers when they remain silent in the face of damage. They are the outcome's silent engineers. The framework that permitted the damage to continue was constructed by silence. The scene was established by silence. The abuser was able to behave without repercussions because of the silence. And remember, selected ones, that power comes from permission. Let's now deconstruct their justifications. I had no idea what to do. When it comes to their values, people always know what to do. They quickly find a voice when their reputation, income, or seats are under jeopardy. They will call meetings, send emails, and beg for answers, but not on your behalf. The justification is prepared and practiced for you. It's not easy. I'd rather not get involved. Translation: I value my seat more than your honor. I was terrified. I won't pretend that fear isn't genuine. But fearlessness is not the same as bravery. It's the decision to take action anyway. In actuality, those who say they are afraid also appear when the dangers are lower. A daring position on something that doesn't jeopardize their comfort, a dangerous social media view. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. After calculating the costs, they concluded that the danger was outweighed by your suffering. That isn't confusion. It's a moral judgment. I tried to help quietly. Okay, some will murmur. Public opposition is not the same as covert sympathy. Only when those doors are utilized to halt the damage can quiet solace behind the matter. Comfort and private solace are nothing more than a velvet robe concealing culpability when they turn into the currency of inactivity. Instead of a chorus of silent apologies that vanish when the pressure gets intense, you need defenders who will raise their voices where they need to. This is where the typical query comes in handy. Why would somebody decide to keep quiet? Because the abuser is not as protected by quiet. It safeguards a comfortable network. Dinners, promotions, club memberships, and reputations are all preserved. It helps individuals avoid difficult talks that might lead to uncomfortable self-disclosures. In summary, they often choose to remain silent in order to preserve the way of life that works for them. And their decision to remain silent was really the least expensive alternative when your selected ones were pushed forward as the issue. But listen, this isn't about giving them the authority they wanted. Being selected indicates that you have the strength to bear a burden that others were unable to. Their quiet exposed them, even if it was intended to bury you. Imagine them as individuals who used invisible ink to sign a contract. The words will become clear with time. Their biography turns into their "not my problem." The footnotes are written by your survival. Imagine a courtroom where witnesses have evidence in their hands, but conceal it rather than putting it on the table. Instead of being your lifeline, that proof turns into a shield for them. The evidence is in their possession like a negotiating chip. Silence is terrible to those who are chosen. In order to protect themselves, those who could verify your veracity by phone call, message, or first-hand report instead weaponized what they possessed. They turned the truth into power. Justice also suffers when the truth is compromised. Silence may seem like a test, and it was in many respects. When no one intervened, they wanted to test whether your spine would break. They believed that by your fall, they would be excused for doing nothing. However, that exam has already been passed by you. Their math failed each time you refused to fold. Their silence became a confession because of your perseverance. You toughened where they wanted to weaken you. You asserted dignity in a place when they anticipated surrender. The alchemy of being selected is that what was intended to shatter you turns into evidence of your resilience. Please keep this in mind. Being silent is not neutral. Furthermore, it is necessary to talk. A person is taking a side when they look the other way. It's the group that makes money off of your suffering. And keep in mind that silence has its own fingerprints, even if they attempt to rewrite history to make it seem like their hands were clean. A voice is still a voice, a vote for whatever was going on in your life. Thus, let the quiet of my beloved selected ones serve as a map. Type amen to embrace the angel's blessings. Show your support by giving super thanks up to $20. Let every silent look, every word you swallow, and every discussion you steer clear of teach you who to believe and who to ignore. It's not your job to discipline them. You must continue to move. In your tale, use their betrayal pact as a witness. You won't be erased by their signature. It will demonstrate the price of your fortitude. The words will accuse them, not you, when that quiet sign sheet is read aloud one day when truth demands reckoning. Breathe now. You are stronger here even if you didn't want to be picked. Hold on to that power. The next phase is on the horizon. Second, they didn't want to spend their money on you since comfort was their currency. Their currency was comfort. They opted for the silence that preserved their lives. Their monthly rent was the source of your anguish. To ensure that their apartments would never become chilly, they paid it in quiet. Listen carefully, my lovely chosen ones. Cowardice like this wasn't an accident. It was a ledger. They examined the balance sheet and chose the side that preserved their comforts when it came down to you versus their stability. Imagine a room full of individuals who would risk a trend, a tweet, or a hot opinion for something that improves their image, but who fold like napkins when defending your dignity, may lose them a dinner invitation or ruin their weekend plans. Confusion is not what that is. It's a calculation. It's exhilarating to be comfortable. It makes individuals stingy with bravery and proficient in excuses. Early on, they learned how to safeguard the little safety nets they had created, such as parental approval, boss favors, and the cozy feeling of belonging. And they opted for the gentle solution of quiet when the truth endangered those nets. Did they not see me, you ask? Were they blind? The number. They had great vision. After calculating the costs, they concluded that they couldn't afford to lose your life. Consider how many times you were the one carrying the turmoil, while others were gathering the remnants of harmony. In order to keep them dry throughout the storm, you served as a human barrier. Their universe was level as long as you took the knocks. Removing the shield would reveal the damage. Who would want to be the next target? They remained silent because they needed what your agony provided, not because they were emotionless. Convenience, calmness, and continuity. They used their silence as a self-preservation tactic. This is the ruthless math. The majority of individuals see morality as a business. They balance the personal cost of remaining silent against the societal cost of speaking. Will I lose my network, my career, and my place at the table? Due to the temporary protection of quiet, the math often works in favor of it. However, such security is not free. It was purchased using your account. It turns you into a throwaway commodity. And it is a betrayal of that type that cuts deeply. They didn't despise you. It's because you interfered with their desired way of life. The issue shifts from why they didn't help to what their life meant, if not loyalty, when you find they put comfort above you. The response is intense and illuminating. For them, your humanity was less important than their existence at that very time. Later on, they'll attempt to frame it in lofty terms. I was defending my family. I had obligations. I did not want to create a commotion. Don't be fooled by the silken words, however. Protection is not protection that necessitates the injury of another. It's a deal. When responsibility is used as an excuse for cowardice, it won't protect you. To fall asleep at night, they will tell themselves tales, but the ledger remains unchanged. Their decision was shown by the comfort they accumulated. They believed that keeping quiet protected their reputation. Rather, it weakened it. The exact thing that marks them will gradually erode the barrier they created out of your suffering. Does that mean I was only a stray cost to them? I understand what you're thinking, but the answer is no. You are never just collateral, chosen ones. Being selected indicates that you have the strength to endure what others were unable to. Your value was not diminished by their failure to stand. Theirs was marked. You weren't weaker because of your endurance. It exposed their lack of bravery. And all of this is dangerously ironic. The conveniences they protected are fleeting. Popularity wanes, occupations shift, and tables shift. They created fragile, little empires on your pain. What will they have left when that convenience falls apart? Just a history of decisions that are difficult to forgive. Because guilt never goes away. It is a compound. Therefore, use this as a weapon and a lesson. It was never by coincidence that they were comfortable. It was a decision. Allow that information to liberate you from self-loathing concerns and focus your efforts on creating a life independent of the cowardice of others. Maintain your composure. Be the one to speak out when the truth needs to be heard. Because you are forged for these times if you are selected. You will remain standing while they calculate the cost of their quiet as their comforts disintegrate. Breathe now, those who have been selected. It's the next truth. Third, the audience wasn't still. They were calculating your anguish. The throng was not defenseless. The math was being done by them. Their silence should not be interpreted as astonishment. Your dignity was classified as an acceptable loss on a ledger that was being balanced. Hear this clearly, my lovely chosen ones. Human weakness was not the cause of the scene you recall. Small judgments were made in the boardroom under the appearance of inactivity. Your surroundings weren't taken by surprise. Their numbers were running. If I talk, who benefits? If I don't, who loses? What am I willing to give up for the truth? Additionally, your name was the less expensive line item when the totals were in. When they refuse to do anything, they are hiding behind that calculating, clinical, cold, and cruel persona. Did they really know? Were they really thinking that deeply? Is a question you can ask yourself when you relive that moment. When reputation, comfort, and benefit are at stake, ordinary situations become into moral accounting. Observe the speed with which the chorus finds a voice when it suits them. To show allegiance to authority, to protect a bargain, or to support a colleague. When the stakes are on their shoulders, people don't just start being brave. When action is recommended by the cost-benefit analysis, courage shows up on schedule. According to the estimate, quiet was less expensive for you. Silence prevailed. This is the section that hurts the most because it substitutes condemnation for sympathy. Forgiving someone who panics is simpler than forgiving someone who intends to remain in one place. Anxiety is a human weakness. Making a calculation is a moral decision. A few of them even set up shop to take advantage of your fall. Partnerships, promotions, and the opportunity to fill a position left empty by your departure. Others struck discreet agreements. If you keep me safe, I'll ignore it. Bravery wasn't the foundation of the ladder they climbed. It was built out of your suffering. Furthermore, don't believe anybody who claims that the crowd was uniform. No, it wasn't. Similar math, different looks. They all performed the same equation. The risk-averse, the opportunists, the busy, and the exhausted. Silence has the same value as money. Spending collectively buys disaster for one and comfort for many. That is its nasty economy. Injustice ceases to seem like an emergency and begins to feel like policy when it benefits a certain group. Couldn't a single voice have made a difference, you ask? Yes, sometimes no. However, what many fail to realize is that the expense of being the only dentist was included into the crowd's estimate. You turn into the warning story that puts the others at ease. Does my recovery ruin their entertainment? You ask. The answer is yes, and that's exactly what it's about. You take away their hobby when you refuse to play the part of the victim forever. They are forced to acknowledge that they were onlookers who supported a falsehood as a result of your recovery. Their social currency is essentially devalued by your tenacity. Their amusing tale is suddenly shown to be cowardly. The cohesiveness of those who relied on your downfall is lost. Since there is no longer any fundamental material, your pain, for them to take advantage of, their shared joke falls apart. So, selected ones, how do you handle this truth? Name the offense first. Draw attention to the fact that it is exploitation. Don't accept your life as satisfactory. Keep your story safe. Choose the person who will tell it. Second, instead of using their laughter as evidence, use it as proof. They were confessing when they laughed. It was evident who valued spectacle above justice. That map is invaluable. It helps you avoid disappointments in the future and identifies your friends and opponents. Lastly, keep in mind that their use of you as entertainment was never an indication of your failure, but rather of their poverty. Because they lack depth, those who devour suffering for sport are very shallow and need drama. Their chit-chat will be outlasted by your recuperation. The message will be your life. The aftertaste will be their jokes. Keep in mind, your recovery is more than simply a personal one. The show gets destroyed by it, and the truth becomes louder as their audience gets less. Breathe now, those who have been selected. The stage is visible to you. The script is familiar to you. Walking off it and writing your own lines is the next step. The seventh piece of armor they wore was uncertainty. Disbelief in the weapon they choose. They erected a doubt wall. They wager that no one would ever believe you. You weren't just silenced. They practiced the falsehood that would permanently silence you.